Hello everyone, my name is Corazar, and welcome back to the Vintage Story Guide. What's that? Why are we in this ugly room? Well, I wanted to start down here in the storage cellar, or one of them, because today's episode is going to be all about storage. We have expanded our storage many times over here, and while we do still have technically some unused floor space that we could use for storage, like right here, I still think it is important for us to move on to a better storage solution. And I think now is about that time. It's winter, it's halfway through December, or just about, and winter is a great time for building since we can't grow things. Adventures just take longer to get anywhere because of the snow, and there's just generally less to do, or less that requires your attention in the winter. Today we are going to be building a storage facility. And to that end, I have been designing a mixed-use village, town hall, and storehouse, and I've been considering where to put it. I was thinking about putting it on top of the drifter pen there and moving that somewhere, but moving that is going to be a bit of a chore to find a place that works for me, and I want this to be located in a central location. And this is not central. I'm not really planning on building much down this way. A lot of my focus is going to be over here, on and just below the cliff face here. And so I'm thinking about where to put this build. Right behind the barn isn't a great spot for it, I think, because the shape of this build is, well, you'll see. I just don't think it would work right here. But the more I think about it, I'm thinking that right about up here where this patch of ferns is might be a great spot. It's far enough from the barn that if we were to put, say, some hypothetical second build behind the barn, then we wouldn't have to stare at the barn's butt all the time. It also isn't right in the way of the winery. That was kind of important to me, is I don't want this to obscure the view of the winery or the view from the winery. Which reminds me, we still have those fruit presses down in our basement. Let's just go move those before I forget to. There we go. That is much better. I'm sure you've all been screaming at me to move those fruit presses for quite some time now. Now I've decided that I want to use some particularly dark wood for the storehouse, as well as a good amount of gray granite stone. And the dark wood is going to be not walnut, because it is dark but not that dark. I want to go and we're going to ransack the dungeons that we cleared out a few episodes ago, because a lot of those rooms had floors made of very aged boards. And that, my friends, is very dark wood indeed. So I'm going to prep, I'm going to clear my inventory of everything I don't need. I'm going to bring along a lot of tools and things that I think I'll need. And I'm going to go down there and we're going to kind of just get all the valuable things out of the dungeons. Then I'm going to hoof it back and forth a couple times and bring back all of the building supplies that we can from down in the dungeons. That is the plan. I will see all of you largely on the other side of this, unless I come across anything particularly interesting in the dungeons that we missed the first time. I have a strange feeling that I left the stove on. Now, I was told by some of you folks who have some more experience down here than I do that there is some terra preta hiding in here. And there is our terra preta. 1. Ooh, 2. I've heard tell that there's 2 terra preta in each of these poop pits. I don't know that 2 terra preta is exactly worth it, nor is it useful, but once we start building up our own stash of it, this could help us finish out a farm that needs, I guess, an extra 1 or 2 pieces. Now, folks, I would be interested in taking back these support beams. Just so you're aware, you cannot actually retrieve them, unfortunately. They are designed to just break. Onward and inward. Oh, we should be checking under these beds. Ooh, rusty gears. Books. Maybe leave the body. Puppy! Bad dog. Alright, folks, we are home safe and sound at long last. It has been 7 in-game days. It has been quite a journey to bring all this home. And we got some interesting stuff. I think my favorites are the Emerald Reindeer Herder Mantle. I think this is really cool. Look at that. Very snazzy. I also found these Forgotten Noble shoes. They're cute, but kind of hard to notice because they are so tiny and they fit under your armor. The other kind of cool thing of note that I really wanted to touch on is this gold rod that was sitting under a bed. So we can actually break this down with a chisel, and this is basically 20 more pieces of gold we can use for making black bronze or electrum or other odds and ends. And actually, if we ever get some of the more interesting treasure armor, we will need gold to repair it. The last thing I want to do here before I get onto the last bits of my collectathon today, so we finally have some pigs over here that are Generation 3, so they do not mind me being here. Even the boar, I can get right up in his face, and he is a-okay. Now, I could smack him with my sword or my spear and attack him normally, but that would make him get a little cross with me, and he would likely attack me back. What the cleaver does is you just hold right click and boop, gone. One hit. This only works on Generation 3 and higher animals, but it is very handy for not freaking all your animals out. Sorry, kids. Sorry y'all had to see that. But yep, I'm going to get cooking, and then I'm going to go over to the Under Mountain Quarry here, get some granite, and then I'm going to probably go down to our little quarry down here in the Bismuth Cave, or on the side of it, and I want to get some more peridotite. for the build today. So I'll see you all after that is done. I lied. Partly because it is still fairly riftly outside. Also because I remembered the other thing I wanted to say. Somewhere in one of these containers, I have 2 linen sacks lurking. And I wanted to show all of you how to make a mining bag. We are just going to take 4 of these guys. I'm going to heat them up. I'm going to make 2 plates, just like I've done with the copper to make lanterns. Actually, I need 4 more tin bronze ingots because each of these bags requires 2 plates. So I'm going to get to smelting. I'm going to get to smithing. And we're going to make some mining bags because I need to carry a lot of stuff into the mines with me. And that isn't going to leave a whole lot of room for bringing out the rock and the small stones that I want to bring out. So I figured, why not literally double our inventory with mining bags? A single mining bag expands the linen sack from 5 slots to a whopping 12. That is twice as much as our leather backpacks can carry. So you can carry a whole lot more stuff in these as long as it is your pickaxe tools, including your prospecting pick, stones, rock blocks, ores, and bombs. So yep, I'm going to get to it, and I'll see you all on the other side. Alright, we've got the 4 tin bronze plates, and we have the linen sacks. You can now get the bright blue mining bags. I don't know how they turn blue suddenly, but they do. There we go. We now have 2 mining bags, and I'm going to pop down these backpacks up in our living room here, and then I'm going to go and sleep, and then we're going to go and get some stone out yon mountain. But first, a word from our sponsor, Medium Temporal Storms. And you. I want to thank you while I sit here for joining me in this journey today. And I wanted to ask you, if you have a second, if you can go make sure that like button works. And if you aren't subscribed, try that too. You could also, if you want to support the channel directly, you can go and check out what's on tap at channel memberships. And I guess, oh my goodness, hello. I guess I'll be dealing with this today. See you all in a bit. Okay, folks, it is time to start the build for the storehouse. I'm going to start here by taking out some of these granite ashlar blocks, some of these granite pieces. I want some of our tools here. And I'm going to start by turning some of these into ashlar and some of them into just polished blocks. I'm also going to turn some of these into ashlar blocks, but we're only going to leave them as ashlar. We're not going to turn them into the actual blocks. I just want the ashlar themselves. And we're going to start with maybe just this many. These will go a long way because I want to combine these with some small stones, which will let us make dry stone blocks. So I'm going to put these right here in the middle, and we'll just spread these around like this. And here we can make granite dry stone blocks rather than the fences, which you may have seen before. If you take 6 of these, you can turn them into a single fence block. But this is sort of the full block version of this. And I realized I forgot one more vital thing. BRB. I swear, I mean it this time. We have everything, right? Anyway, I want to start this build up about here where this mouflon sheep is. Hello. You look like dinner to me. And we're going to start by designating this as our center. We're going to come out, see 1, 2, 3, and 4. That should give me 7 through here. Yes, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to use the ashlar as a foundation. Under here, I think we're going to have some kind of like door frame here. So I can probably safely cover those in with dirt or fill it in with dirt. But then each of these wings is going to come back 5 blocks. And then we'll have one of these as a terminator. Just like that. And so what will happen is this will be the start of the next wing. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we can plop down our corner. And 1, 2. Have a space of 3. And so on. I'll do the same over here, although we'll have to clear this out of the way first. So there will be some land clearing and smudging the dirt around here. But I'm going to focus for now on this wing, because the other 3 wings will be identical, at least on the outside. And so I want to give you an idea of what this is going to look like with this part here, and I'll explain it as I go. But for the other 3 wings, I will probably delve into a bit of building montage. So I also want to use some of the ashlar here. I think the ashlar look pretty nice. We're going to have a build that goes up about there, like that. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to cap it off here at the very top with a little bit more of the polished stuff. Can I? I cannot. There we go. And here I'm going to bust out some of the red clay we brought along with us, as well as some of these peridotite stones. I'm going to turn these guys into some slabs here. And these are going to go right in here as the walls. Like that. And then we're going to delve into some of these very aged wooden planks that we acquired legally. And these are going to go right in here. I want them vertically, so I'm making sure that I aim at the top of the block. And that'll be where our doorway is. And I think maybe across here we'll just do a sideways one. And then I want to polish up some of this peridotite. And we're going to use this in the entryway here and for a little bit of a patio, or portico I think is the correct word. Then I want to saw up a few of these maple logs here. And we're going to do 2 main things with the maple. One, we're going to make a regular old door. And that door is going to go right in here. And then over on these side walls, I want to do a couple main things. One is we're going to break some of these down into their constituent boards. And then we can turn them into slabs. We're going to line these here. And I'm leaving space for a window right here. And what is going to go into this window space, you might ask? Or around it specifically? Well, some cobblestone. We're going to go ahead and going to chisel. Let's see, these, and that guy. We're going to swap hands, put our lantern down. Hope I didn't have the hammer in my hand, so it didn't actually do anything. There we go. Go ahead and add some cobblestone to all of these guys here. And then we're just going to do a little bit of this. We're going to give it a bit of a frame here. We can actually go ahead and pretty easily add a little windowsill right in here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to chop this down a little bit more. Give it a little bit more detail here. Just like that. And then we're going to come in with the top here. Give it a little bit of a lintel, which is the thing over the window that kind of holds everything together. And we could even maybe come in here and place some of this. One there, one there, one there, and one there. And if we wanted to be extra daring, we could even pop this out just a little bit. Just to give it a little bit more texture, so that when viewed from the side, it isn't just a flat veneer. Just like that. We can even add a little bit more detail just by chopping that back. Maybe even a little bit more, like something like that. There we go. Now it has a little bit more character than before. Now across the tops of all these, I think I want to just fill in with some granite cobblestone. I'll be using full blocks for this once again. So across here, we're going to go and place this. And we won't really see this from the outside very much, if at all. But on the inside, it will be visible, so it does make a difference. And there we go. And we'll come back in here and we're going to fill this in as well. Let's go ahead and get this wall in. And rather than chiseling all that by hand a second time, I have brought along the pantograph. And I do have enough granite cobblestone in my inventory. I can just pop right through here. Stand in the middle, make sure we are in paste shape and materials. And we can't because these are differently oriented wooden slabs. So we do here have to manually add in the cobblestone. But once we do, we should be able to just copy and paste this in the paste shape only mode, and it will pull the materials from the block itself. So there we go, back in paste shape only, we'll snap you. And there we go, we're just going to move all of these over. And then we can go into flip mode, and standing kind of at an angle here, to make sure we are flipping the correct block. You should be able to flip all of these relatively easily. And here we can make a little bit of a change here. Since I did the outside, we can come in here with the 2x2 and the granite cobblestone and just smooth this out here. And that way next time we copy this, these will be ready to go without any further modification. Alright, it is getting pretty late. Getting tired of hearing the creepy noises. I'm going to head in, take a nap, and we'll be back at it in the morning. Okay, it is morning, and this is a decent start to the build here. The next thing I want to do is I want to start on some windows, so I brought along some lead this morning. I'm going to make a few leaded panes here. I'm going to start with 4. I think we're going to need like about 20 of these. We'll just do 4 more. And there we go. So 20 in total should be about right for the size of this build. I'm going to pop these panes right in here. And over here. I want to get some of the flooring in here next. So we're going to make some maple slabs. I'm kind of liking the way that the maple plays with the peridotite and the granite here. It's sort of like a middle ground green. So I'm going to go ahead and going to cover this up. Like I said, those dirt blocks didn't stand a chance. Alright, here we go. I'll stretch this out a little bit here like this. And probably bring it a little ways into what will be the sort of central atrium thing. What I want to do here is we're going to have the storage partly sunk into the floor. I want to have little bays here where I can access this from the side or from the inside of the bay. So we'll have a little bay where I can stand right in here. So something like this and like that. And then we're going to have like a trunk here and here. And then we'll have crates stacked above the trunk. And then right in here, we'll use little staircases, or even, I'm thinking what we'll do is, we'll actually use some of these really nifty aged peridotite ashlar blocks. And we'll just chisel them. And then that will give us the access we need to be able to see underneath the crates to access our trunks. Let's go ahead and try that out here. So there we go. So once we have a trunk in here, as you can see, we'll just demonstrate here with some dirt. We can still access this bottom block right here. So having a trunk here should be no problem at all. And I'm realizing that right here, I might want to use some full-size maple blocks here, just under these little sections here where you could potentially see the ugliness underneath if you stand at the right angle. So I'm going to go fix that right now. And there we go, threat of seeing that is now past. And maybe what I'll do is maybe we'll just make some granite cobblestone slabs. Since when they are horizontal, they don't have that strange quality to their appearance. So I think we'll just do a bit of that. I still have no shovel. Let's go fix that right now. Ah, bronze shovels. Oh boy. What a treat. What a treat, he says, while slamming the door right in his own face. Alright. Abracadabra, hocus pocus, dirtus wordus, leavem stonum. And there we go. Now this building will be a 2-story building, and so we're going to start on the second floor right here. I'm going to do a 3.5 block tall ceiling here in general. I decided to be a little cheeky with how we do the access to the second floor. And I went for efficiency over style, just because this is kind of meant to be like the village storehouse. And making this too big or too grand might sort of overwhelm the rest of the builds in the area. So I went for something a little simpler, but effective. That is to say, ladders. Right over the door. We can hop up here, make our way up and down the ladder. And unlike in the Stone Age base, since we don't have a ladder next to the door, there's no threat of us accidentally kind of like walking up the ladder rather than through the door. And let's get the rest of these in here for the time being. Now, this is all well and good, but a second floor needs a roof. Otherwise, those hanging out on it and everything in it is going to get wet. It is for that reason that I brought along some medium fertility soil. That's right, we're doing a dirt roof. Okay, I'm kidding. Hang on a second. Stop screaming. Hold on. I also brought along some grass, and we're going to use some pine here just for junk wood. Going to shave some of this pine down a bit like this. And we are going to make ourselves some grass out of this. And we're going to make some sod roof. Somehow. There we go. And we're going to come in here and we're just going to hang some eaves right up in here. And I realize these are kind of dull looking right now, but in spring, summer, and most of fall, these should be a nice, brilliant shade of green. I think once I get this row in, I'm going to run back home and rest away the demons of the night. And since it is still quite dark out, let's take a moment to smith out some of the lanterns we're going to need to light up our storehouse. And we'll just chuck one, say, here, and maybe one out here somewhere. Maybe there. There we go. It's not perfect, but now we can at least do a bit more building during the night, at least when it's calm. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to build out the gable here a little bit, and then we can fit our roofs on. Although I suspect we'll need a few more than this. And right here in the center of the room, or just about the center, I want to have a little dormer here. We're going to put a window right about there. So we're going to actually take this guy down. We're going to pop in the sod roof corners like that and like that. I'm going to pop this guy right on top of there like that, and we'll continue on. This side gets the same treatments. We're going to do 1 and 2. We're going to probably try to just use this a little bit easier. Not like that. Like that. There we go. Oh, I need more windows. One for here and one for there. Continue the dormer this way. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and put the actual roof tips on here. Bit like that. And then just to add a little bit more flair here, we are of course going to turn some of these into the left and right halves. And we should be able to snap these on if I can reach and aim properly. Same goes for this little point right here, which I believe goes, yes, like this. Just do one at a time for now. We're going to want a little bit of these full-sized, very aged wooden planks to cover the space under the window. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 of these. We're going to turn them into support beams. First things first, beam's going to go right along here like this, across to there. Okay. The full-size block's going to go under here like this. And that should let this seal as a room if we can sort of shrink everything down and maybe put a doorway in here. We're going to go ahead and add in a whole bunch of granite cobblestone. We're going to use the pantograph to snap some sills like this. Pop them in here like so. and basically redo all of the windows, just like downstairs. Actually, these two are going to stay as they are here. We'll flip them around though. But these guys on the end here, this gets to have the full treatment. I think we're going to actually dig this back a little bit. Going to plop in 2 of these right here. Going to put up some of these here to support a roof. We're going to put the roof on. So 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Pop these guys up there to cover up the lantern. And we're going to put those right there. Now for steps up here, we're going to do a little bit of an apron style here. So something a bit like this ought to do. Then we'll come in and we're going to just take out this corner here and this corner here, and that will make it much easier for us to step up from all directions here under the little portico. Now there is one last detail that I want to put in here, and that's going to require some of these maple slabs. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to put the slabs in here like so. And we're going to pull out a little bit of an eaves material here. Just a little bit of a little trim. Then we'll drop down to the 2x2. Just going to alternate these right in here. We'll also alternate chopping out some from here. Actually, would it look better if I alternated like this? I think so. Like that better. And then the same thing down here. Something a bit like that. That just gives it a little bit more character to play with here. And I think it looks pretty nice. Now we can do kind of the same thing over here on the front. It'll take a little bit more finesse here. But the way we're going to do it is I'm going to add in and maybe even swap out some of the blocks here for full-size blocks. In fact, yes, I think I might do exactly that. Let me swap these out and I'll show you what I'm aiming for here in just a moment. And after retreating for a rather riftly night, we are back at it here. And here is the semi-final result. As you can see, we now have a full block thick wall here with the trim on it. And I will pop this out in a separate block, but before I do that, I do want to come in here with just a little bit of maple here. And we are going to do something similar. Actually, no, we're going to do a bit of this. We're going to do a bit of these very aged wooden slabs. Chisel these back to a little nub like that. Then we're going to add in the maple blocks like this. And then we're going to do kind of the same thing we did below. We're going to bring some of this in here and going to pull this out a bit like that. And then we're just going to do a bit of this along here to add some interest, just like that. I'm going to grab the pantograph that I left in the box down here. And we're going to go into paste shape and materials mode. We're going to snap this guy and do a little bit of this. I'm going to give these guys a flip. Not quite like that, maybe like that. There we go. And these guys, so you do have to fix the lighting on these sometimes. There you go. You saw the lighting here kind of just changed a little bit. And then up here, we're going to get a little bit special with this just to kind of try to make this tie in here. And we'll just bring all of this up to a point as best we can. Just like that. And there we have it. We have one of the 4 wings of our little building here just about complete, at least on the outside. And I do need to copy this around to this side, but that's fairly easy. And I will pop out that trim up there and give it a quick smooth before we call this fully done. But then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to copy this design in all 3 of these other directions after I move some of this dirt around. And I think that would be an excellent time for me to revive fully the 20 questions segment of the guide series. So several of you have submitted questions to me with the hashtag 20 questions, either here in the comments or over on Discord. And this is a chance for you to ask me anything. And you have. And so I'm going to spend a moment while I'm working on building out this design here, and I'm going to answer your questions as I also treat your eyes to a little bit of a montage of me doing the build. You know what we say around here. Let's get to it. Well then, folks, while you feast your eyes on the building montage going on in the background, it is time for the first Vintage Story Guide Season 3 20 questions session. We have a few questions from some folks who submitted them with the hashtag 20 questions. Our first one is from Picture 3. What moment or game hooked you and made you a gamer? I think my, quote, journey to becoming a gamer was a gradual process. My very first game was Super Mario Bros. 3, specifically the Versus mode, back on the original NES. My best friend back in my original hometown had a system, and I thought it was just so cool that you could press a button on a little, very boxy controller in your hand and make the little guy on the screen move. That moment sort of got me interested in games. I would say the game that really got me into gaming long term was probably SimCity 2000. I don't recall when we got that game. I think I was playing it on our Windows 3.1 PC, and I still have its processor in a drawer. It's an old 486DX. But I played a lot of SimCity 2000 and some SimTower, but SimCity 2000 was the one that really made me just realize all of the cool stuff you could do with the game. Our next question is from Azariel Kai. Have you played games like Final Fantasy? Old ones count. Would you ever do a Let's Play, even of an older title like Final Fantasy IX? Final Fantasy? No, can't say I've heard of it. Nope. Never heard of it. Not me. Okay, I'm just kidding. No, actually, yes. When I got my PlayStation 2, one of the games that I got for it was a used copy of the original Final Fantasy VII. And the PlayStation 2 could play PlayStation 1 games. And so that got me hooked. I've played, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've played some 12, I haven't beaten it. I've played some of 13, haven't beaten that one. I've played a smattering of 14 and 15, and no 16. Honestly, I really enjoyed like 7 through 10. 6 was great. I was probably too young to really appreciate just how good it was, but I did enjoy it. But I really think that something's been lost since the days of 7 through 10. Like, the whole structure of the games have really changed, and I personally don't think it's been for the better. I did pick up Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, I think is the second one. I haven't played Rebirth yet, but I have played the remake, and it was good. I actually enjoyed it. I liked the updates, I liked the changes. I didn't like that they made it a 3-part game that's going to cost, $150 to really play the whole way through, but I got them all on sale, at a reasonable sale. Would I do a Let's Play? I would say if there's enough interest in me doing a Let's Play, I certainly wouldn't say no. I do want to at some point start playing other games again on the channel, now that my time has kind of become a little more reliable and my availability has opened up somewhat. So yeah, maybe it would be on the menu. I don't know that I'd play Final Fantasy IX. It was not my favorite, and I know that's kind of controversial. It's going to raise some hackles. But 9, I think, was probably the weakest of the ones that I did like. Our next question is from Kat Tunger. What brought you to Vintage Story? I was personally introduced to the game through Solston's Eisenholm series. Solston? That guy? Ah, jeez. No, Solston's great. I was pushed into Vintage Story by the YouTube algorithm. A few years ago, back in, it must have been 2020 or 2021, Paul Soares Jr. was doing his Vintage Story 1.13 Let's Play. YouTube relentlessly was like, hey, you watch a lot of those block game videos. Check out this one. And so it kept trying and trying, and eventually it showed me some Ashanton videos as well. And at long last, I clicked on one of them. I was like, fine, YouTube, I will see what makes this game so good. And one thing led to another, and here we are today. So, yep, that was my journey into Vintage Story. Our next two questions, one of which is our last one, are from Tizona Amanthea, and they ask, you did a video on color theory in the Season 2 of the Guide series, but now I'm really struggling with floor plan and just what do with my builds. What's the best process for how do you plan out your build to account for what the build needs to hold and reconcile what it will look like, where it goes in the landscape, and look best? There isn't really one mathematical formula for this. I think there's a lot of sort of getting a feel, turning it from a skill of monkey see, monkey do, into having an intuitive sense for what looks right in a build. As far as starting a floor plan, I think the easiest thing to do is to pick a default size. I'm going to recommend, say, 5x5. Make all of your interiors, or plan for interiors, to be sort of segmented into 5x5 spaces. And just sort of randomly scatter them about so they touch, not necessarily along one edge, but offset them by a block or two here and there. And then kind of go back and pick out some of them that you're going to change. One might become a 5x7. One could become a 7x7. You might shrink one into a 5x3. And once you're done, you're going to end up with a small scattering of different sized squares and rectangles in the ground. And from there, build your walls up. Slot some windows in. Put your floors in. Also play with elevation. Maybe you want to have one of your 5x5 rooms be 1/2 or one full block higher or lower than the next one to play with verticality a bit. That can give your builds some interest as well. And once you're comfortable with it, then you'll probably find yourself struggling less and more looking around the internet for inspiration and then translating that into Story or other block games. Tizona Amanthea's second question is, are there any good guides for quenching and tempering? I've had a lot of bad luck lately and have lost a lot of tools on the first quench. What I will say is, not yet, but soon. I would like to do a short on quenching and tempering, and I will also certainly be doing a full guide on quenching and tempering in the guide series once we get to the Iron Age. The reality is it does come down to luck, but there is a way to optimize it mathematically so you get the best bang for your buck. Whether that's worth it to you, the frustration of losing a piece, that is for you to decide. But mathematically, if you're making 20 pickaxes and you only lose one of them, but the rest of them have 10 to 15% more durability, then you've already got 2 extra pickaxes on top of the 19 that you ended up with in reality. But yes, keep your eyes peeled for a short here and there. I'm trying to find time to fit some shorts in. They're just a little more involved than I usually like to get. But also keep an eye out for the guide series when I get to the Iron Age. Quenching and tempering will be probably one of the first couple episodes in the Iron Age. Well, folks, that is it for today's 20 questions segment. I hope you enjoyed my answers to your questions. And I hope if you were on the fence about submitting a question as to whether it was one that I would answer or one that was appropriate for the series, have no fear. I will answer most any question that is not socially inappropriate. So go ahead and drop a question in the comments with the hashtag 20questions, or hop over to the Discord server and you can leave it there in the dedicated 20 questions channel. I will notify you when the question has been officially added to the list, and then in a future video montage like this one, I will answer your questions. It looks like I'm about to wrap up, so let's get back into the action. And like that, folks, we have finished the exterior of the 4 main areas of our storehouse here. I am pretty happy with how this came out. I think in my original ideas I envisioned taller windows here, but given that this is a village storehouse and not like a medieval city storehouse, I think I'm pretty happy with the smaller windows. It also helps conserve our limited glass, although this next part, well, you'll see. The next thing I want to do is I want to address this central area here. As you can see, I have put a block of dirt right here. Now, why would you do that, Corazar? Well, I want to plant something here. But first, I also want to finish out the floor here. I'm going to put some polished peridotite in the corners here. just like that to finish off these areas. And then here, I was kind of playing with the idea of using the cracked ashlar or the aged polished cobbled rock, which does not look cobbled at all. It looks like ashlar to me. But I was thinking, rather than picking one over the other, what if we kind of just mix them in here? Get rid of the snow here and get a better feel for how this is going to look. Oh yeah, that is pretty nice. Now what I want to put here in the center is I want to grow a fruit tree. Now it's going to be indoors, but that really won't change anything about its growth because it's not in a greenhouse. I think I brought the tree with me. Ah, here we go. I thought this would be a fitting place to try planting our one and only yellow apple cutting. It may not grow, and if it dies, I think I'll probably just replace it with a pink apple tree. But I thought we could start with the yellow apple right here. Now, since it is winter, it's not going to start growing until probably late March or mid-April at the earliest, possibly even not till May. So we won't know for quite some time if this is going to survive, but we'll check on it regularly since we'll be in here very often. This is our storehouse after all. And yeah, we'll see if we get a tree. Now, about this big old thing right here, this big old opening, I do want to close it in, and I was thinking a small dome might be just what the doctor ordered. Now, I do want to put something up here, sort of to border the main roofs here from the dome. And I'm thinking I'll use probably some more of the granite ashlar, maybe also some of the polished granite rock. And then I want to build a dome that has some kind of straps on it, probably a dark color, and then fill it with glass. Now, we only have 24 glass left. I don't think this is enough. I think I need something like 10 or 12 glass per section up here. And the catch is that we only have 20 pieces of quartz left over in the house. And this is meant to be a copper age build. And that means that we can't just mine glass with a pickaxe. Now, I could say that realistically, we could have gotten some more quartz from panning or from maybe going up the mountain and seeing if there's quartz deposits up there we could pick up off the ground. But there is another option. You see, a long time ago, in an episode far, far away, it's in here actually, yes, we got some black coal. Now, black coal is not normally mineable unless you have bronze or better, but we got this from a ruin, so it is legitimate treasure. And we also have in here, we have some saltpeter, not a ton, but a good amount of it, and lurking somewhere else around here, I guess it's right here. Thought I had somewhere that was already ground up, but I guess not. We have sulfur. What can we make with this, Kurazar? We can make blasting powder. With 4 saltpeter, 2 powdered sulfur, and a mere 1 piece of black coal, we can get 6 blasting powder. And we can make an ore blasting bomb with 4 of this powder, plus some linen and some flax. And we get 8 bombs per application of this. So, what, 5 flax twine worth goes into 8 bombs? I think this is worth the trouble. Now, I'm going to make 2 sets of bombs, or blasting powder, which will be for 3 sets of bombs, because otherwise we end up with 2 blasting powder left over that we can't really do much with. So I'm going to grind this into that and make blasting powder. I need 4 powdered sulfur, that is 2 pieces of sulfur ground. Oh my. How will I ever finish this? Wow, what a full day's worth of work. So now, if we take 8 of this, 4 of these guys, and 2 of these, we can get 12 blasting powder. This is enough for, what, 24 bombs? That is crazy. This is asking a bit much of our twine stash right now, but I think we'll be okay. So a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of those. We have 8 bombs. Oh, those are cool. And so after clearing a bit of inventory space, we're going to head over here down to our transicator And we're going to try out these blasting bombs, these ore blasting bombs, for the first time in this series. Well, this season, not the series. And we're going to head up here to where we were stymied by the presence of this quartz some time ago. Here we go. We have the ore, the quartz right in our way here. I'm going to put our bomb like right on top of this dirt here. We're going to start with that. I'm going to light this guy with a torch. I'm going to skedaddle as far away as I can. Ooh, boom. Did we break through the quartz ceiling here? Looks like we did. Not too shabby. And with that singular bomb, we got about 16 hours worth of panning levels of quartz here. As you can see, if you have access to bombs, life suddenly becomes a lot easier. I'm also going to grab a few pieces of claystone. Specifically, I do want the cobblestone, so I'm going to go ahead and break these down rather than trying to quarry them out. And yeah, I'm going to bomb out a little bit more of this and bring it home and fire up a few bloomeries with glass. And so I will see you when I am ready to continue building our dome on the village storehouse. And once again, I'm sorry I stopped recording because holy cow, our second bomb led us straight to anthracite. And look at this. We have fire clay right below the anthracite. This is my first time finding fire clay in the wild in 1.22. Look at that. Oh, it's so cool. Requires tool tier 3 bronze to break. So we are technically in the age that we can do that. But yeah, the fire clay is really cool to have here. Oh, this is nice. This is a great find. I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and just dig out some of the claystone and not widen this any further. I don't need to have any more creepy crawlies here trying to eat my guts than necessary. But this is quite a find. Anthracite has sort of a new use and new purpose in 1.22 because it has a very long burn duration. And previously, in versions 1.21 and earlier, when you used coal in a forge, it all burned at the same temperature and for the same duration. Well, now, this burns specifically at 1200 degrees Celsius, and it has a duration bonus of plus 200%. This place is ridiculous. We have salt, we have quartz, we have fire clay, and we have anthracite. This is such a find. And I do have my prospecting pick. Let's just see what else is here. Very poor anthracite. Well, there you go. Very poor halite and very poor bituminous coal or black coal. This has been a ridiculously good find for the translocator. Galena here too? My goodness, okay. Well, like I said, I'm going to dig out some of the claystone. I guess I'll keep the clock running this time. And we're going to get back to the village storehouse. Alright, with our glass smelting behind me, it is time to get back to work. As long as the rift weather holds out for us. So what I wanted to do here is I made a bunch of polished granite rocks. I'm going to put a few of these in here just to sort of plug that hole, first of all. And then up here on the second floor, I want to add in some ashlar blocks. Now, ashlar looks really nice by itself, but again, it is just a cube like this. And I want to kind of give it a little bit of a stair-step shape. However, the stair-step shape, when you actually make stairs, is a little funky. See how they're kind of like, they just don't look like blocks. I think their texture was like turned and then spread around or something, but they just don't look like they really quite belong. Here, look at these guys here. There's like a weird seam right down the middle here. They don't match up properly. They look like they're just sort of two half blocks stacked here. I think there is something wrong with this texture, and I do plan on reporting it as a bug. I just forgot to. Just like I forgot to get a pickaxe. Anyway, my thought is rather than trying to fight with the system and try to make it look pretty with stairs, why don't we just go ahead and chunk this out like this and make stairs like that. I think this works just fine, and it still leaves an insulating block face on the inside. So that is my plan for this first layer here. I'm going to have this kind of follow the roof line, and then I'm going to put a band of the polished granite rock right around the top here. And there we go. We have a start of our little place here. I'm going to clean up the dirt, get out of our way. And then for filling in this area here, that is why I went and got some claystone and turned it into cobblestones, because I think this would look pretty darn good right about here. But yeah, we can come in here and we can chisel these back a bit. And what we can do is just a bit of this. Maybe even, oh, not quite like that. That way we have some walking space, limited though it is. We can just get through here without too much trouble. And yeah, I want to do that on the whole way around here. I'm going to get the strap, whatever it's called, of the dome on here, like a plus shape here, and across there, and then get the glass in. And then it'll be time for some storage. And there she is, folks. As the winter winds kind of blow her down, she stands strong against their powers. But yeah, this is what I wanted out of this build. We got the big old glass dome, and we can even take a view with the bird's eye mod. Oh wow, look at that. That is something, huh? Yes, I am very happy how this came out. Now all we have left is a bit of the interior, but I do want to put up a kind of fence here to keep us from just walking off here, which you probably saw me do a few times. I wouldn't mind paring back some of this a bit to make it a bit less head bonky, and I do want to, like I said, put a living space in over here. But let's go ahead and get this storage going on, because that is why we're here. And so for that, we're going to want a lot of trunks and a lot of crates. But these are going to go in here like this, and that, and like so. Yes, we'll be able to fill half of these, looks like. we'll be able to grow into this. And that is the intent with this build, is that we aren't going to fill this all today. And that is a-okay. I have no problem with that. But I wanted to make sure we had enough room to expand so that when we do all of the various story locations and we go delving into deep dungeons and ruins and things, then we will have a place to bring things back. And if we have already filled the storage we have, well, we have room to make more storage. Now, what else is going in here are going to be crates. And for that, I brought along a whole bunch of different kinds of wood here. I want to make, say, a whole bunch of each crate. And the way we're going to get these in here is that for the ones that are against the wall like this, they are pretty straightforward to just plop in here like this, no problem. For the ones here against no wall or wall on the side, I'm going to put blocks of dirt here first, get the first ones in place like so. And then I'll take these down one by one and put one extra one, say, here, and then one other one would go here against the wall like this. Not like that. I do want these to all be straight because I'm going to put labels on as many of them as I can, or at least the ones that are not necessarily indicative of what their contents are. So for wood logs and such, I will just use plain crates of the wood type. But for things like stones, I'll try to match the color of the stone to a wood type. And then other odds and ends, I will try to match the color as well. I'm going to get started on getting the storage in here, and I'll see you all when this is done. And there you have it, folks. We have a fully built and mostly filled and functional storage facility, aka a village storehouse. Now, are there some minor improvements that I would like to make in the near future? Why, of course, there always are. And I may make a few odds and ends touch-ups during in-between episode moments when I have a chance. And I'm also going to probably spend the next several in-game hours just moving stuff over here. I won't move everything over here, just the stuff that I don't think we need to have back at the other base, but that should include most main building materials and other odds and ends. So whenever we need to start a new project, this is where we'll begin. But folks, that is going to do it for this episode of the Vintage Story Guide. If you enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to let me know by leaving a like or a comment in the section below. And I hope you're looking forward to the next episode where we are going to get into making bread and pies. That's going to require some fire clay, which means I guess I should probably bring some from over there to over here. I also think that since I've spent some time on this and kind of re-whetting my skill at building smaller scale builds, if you've seen Desert Life, you know what I mean. And I think I want to come and revisit the winery. It hasn't been too long since we built the winery, but as I promised, I did want to come back soon-ish, as I said, and give this a second whack. So we're going to do that because I want to start our baking journey over here. And while we're over there, we may as well get started on some home improvements. I hope you're looking forward to that. But that is next episode's tale. For now, I need to get to editing and thumbnailing, folks. The names scrolling by belong to the awesome folks who are supporting the channel by signing on as channel members. If you too would like to see your name in the credits, get early access to videos, or maybe even hear me butcher your name in the next part, then go check out what is available in the channel memberships. The following people have gone the extra mile to support the channel by signing on at the Seraph tier. Their names are Apec, Chrysanthemum, Dalto124, Elizabeth Woolley, Eric Franzen, Inger Raymond, Joshua Saruta, Linda Harris, Low Polly Katz, Lucky's Mom, Mad Lord Hubris, Operion, Oaktree, Sergio Alarcon, Servus, Snow Silver, Sue Wallace, Tyluna, and Wade Parker. As always, my name has been Corazar. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.